I am Sue Webley. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. Morning. Welcome. Listen, I'm showing my stuff. Good morning, y'all. It's so good to see you here on another Saturday morning. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. I see you all coming in. Let me show my little background. I see you coming in, and I want you to do me a favor. I want you to share this broadcast out this morning because I'm so excited about our guest this morning who's going to be hanging out with us and talking about joy and confidence, and you'll see. Welcome. I see you coming in on Instagram, so thank you for joining us. If you see me over here, that's Instagram over there. So thank you, Instagram folk, for joining us. Good morning. My sister's on. My mom is on. Good morning. Hey, Pastor Joyce. Thank you for joining us. Do me a favor again and share out this broadcast. Tell your friends. Tell your good girlfriends, the good boyfriends. Tell them all. Tell them to come and hang out on Inspire this morning. If you just stumbled upon this broadcast, you don't know who I am, what Inspire is about. I am Sue A. Webley, an author, producer, and award-winning minister, and founder of Cara Solutions, a digital service agency that helps individuals and organizations, some of you who are watching right now, navigate the virtual space with confidence. And so I believe in the power of words, wisdom, and witness, and that is what Inspire Jesus is all about. We are live right now again on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on Instagram, and I want to give you an opportunity, if you haven't already done so, to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. So I know a number of you are following me from the Cara Solutions page. Thank you so much for hanging out with Cara Solutions for 5 years. And so we would not be who we are without each and every one of you. So thank you for that. We are building up the Inspire with Sue platforms. And so please follow on Facebook and on Instagram. Alternatively, you can also head over to our website at www.getinspired.live. There you can watch all of our previous episodes, find out a little bit more about the show, and subscribe to our newsletter. Because there's so many wonderful things happening with Inspire, and we don't want you to miss any of it. So please connect, follow, like, and subscribe. So y'all know how I do. If you've been with me any amount of time, you know the question I'm about to ask, and I'm going to ask our guest this when she comes on later. But what are you sipping on this morning? What you sipping on? What you got in your cup? Is it water? Is it tea? Is it coffee? What is it? Now, y'all know that I have coffee in my cup. I told myself I was going to do just plain water this morning, and it didn't work. So I do have coffee in my cup, and for Mental Health Awareness Month, I am rocking this cup all month. Fearfully and wonderfully made. I like to say that I'm fearfully and fabulously made. So that's the cup I'm rocking. Let me know what you were drinking. I have some blonde espresso with sugar-free brown sugar and cinnamon syrup and oat milk. So let me know what you're sipping on. Let me know where you're watching from and what you're sipping on. And type it in there so I could shout it out. Oh yeah, yes, Pastor Joyce, you were there from the beginning. Hey, Sissy, Tanya is on there from the beginning as well. All of you really who've been who are on right now have been here from the beginning, and I'm so appreciative of all of all of you. Tanya's drinking coffee. Allison is drinking Bustelo. Yes, listen, you could run a whole year on Bustelo. Just one cup, and you just be running for a whole year. All right, let me see who else. Yeah, and Alice from Greensboro. So, of course, my mom and Allison and Joyce from Greensboro. Tanya is Delaware. And let me know where you're watching from. Let me know where you're watching from. So I'm going to talk about this again when our guest comes on, but I needed to address this morning. Like I couldn't go further on in the show before we address this. So this is the critiques that I've been hearing about this particular statue has been kind of disheartening. But of course, we've heard some positive things too, which is kind of lifting. But so if you've been online, if you don't know what this is, if you've been online recently, or even might have heard it in the news, you may, or if you're in New York, you may have seen it. The statue, Grounded in the Stars, by British artist Thomas J. Price, and it's a 12-foot bronze sculpture of a tall, thick, beautiful Black woman standing firm in a crop top, and leggings, and locked hair, hands on her hips, eyes looking forward, taking up space, right? Unapologetically present. And so, as a Black woman, as a tall woman, as a thick woman, when I saw her, I saw me, right? I saw my people. I saw my sisters. I saw the women in the nail salon. I saw the women on the train, the ones in the checkout line, the ones who show up for every day, right? For everybody, whether the world sees them or not. The women who hold entire communities on their backs and don't ask for any applause. This statue for me is powerful, but not everyone agrees, right? So some folks have called her ugly, say she doesn't belong in a public space. Others have questioned why that body was chosen to represent anything at all. And so many of those critiques came from other Black women. And so I gather that a lot of that critique is like rooted in Western beauty standards, right? They have taught us to only see certain bodies as worthy of admiration, to see thinness and whiteness and Eurocentric features as the default for beauty and public praise. Anything outside of that tends to get mocked, right? Tends to get dismissed, tends to get erased. And so for me, those reactions they aren't only about like the art. They aren't only about the sculpture itself. They're about who we're taught is worthy of being seen. They're about what happens when a Black woman who doesn't fit into Eurocentric ideals dares to take up space in Times Square, of all places. And so I'm not here to convince you who are watching, you might catch this in the replay. I'm not here to convince anyone to love it, but I am here to say, if you cannot find beauty in this statue, ask yourself, who taught me what beauty is? Who taught me what beauty is? Because maybe it's not the art that needs to change. Maybe it's the lens that you are looking through. So today on Inspire, I want to thank Thomas and say thank you to every Black woman who's ever been told that she's too big, too bold, too visible. Keep standing, keep shining, keep taking up space. Because guess what, sis? You belong on every pedestal. So let me know your thoughts on this particular statue. I needed to bring that up. Let me see if I've gotten any response. Yes, strong, resilient, unapologetic. Here, yes. Oh my goodness. Give me your thoughts on her. I'm going to bring her back up when we speak to our guest this morning. So let me get into that introduction. I'm so excited to bring before you Sabra Johnson. Oh my gosh. Excited again is the word, because I the fact that she's had the time to come and hang out with us is a big deal for me. Sabra Johnson is the creative genius behind MyStyleisMyBrand, platform that doesn't just celebrate fashion, it celebrates freedom. At 50 plus, Sabra is proving that style has no expiration date. From her bold new sock line, Sock Swag, to the Style Box rental service that makes fashion accessible for everyone, she is building a movement rooted in self-expression and sustainability. And because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, we'll also be exploring how personal style can be a powerful tool for healing and self-love. So if you don't already have something in your cup, grab your coffee or tea. We're going to dive into color, confidence, and closets with Sabra Johnson. As we prepare to meet her, let's take a look at her April recap. Ow! Oh! Put it down! Yeah. I'm back! I'm back! I'm back! I'm back! I'm back! Get up off of that thing and dance to you better. Get up off of that thing and dance to you. Sing it now. Get up off of that thing and dance to you better. Get up off of that thing. Try to release that pressure. Get up off of that thing and shake to you feel better. Get up off of that thing and shake to you. Say it now. Get up off of that thing and shake to you feel better. Get up off of that thing and try to release that pressure. Get up off. Good job. So good. Everybody ready? Follow me. Get up off of that thing and shake the juice. Get up off of that thing and shake the juice. Bring it now. Get up off of that thing and shake the juice. Get up off of that thing. Good morning, Sabra.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for sharing that. That actually made me smile. I was happy to see it. The laugh at myself.
It brought me a whole lot of joy, like I shared with you before we went live. Thank you for joining us this morning. It's such a pleasure, such an honor to have you hanging out with us on this early Saturday morning. I see you all coming in. Thank you for sharing, y'all. Thank you for sharing. So before we talk about the statue for a minute, what are you drinking? What are you sipping on this morning?
I am sipping out of I love Scrabble, so this is my Scrabble cup. I'm just sipping on some hibiscus tea.
Hibiscus tea. So yeah. So hibiscus is what we make sorrel out of. And so for the longest time, I didn't know you could drink it separate as a tea. I always associated hibiscus with sorrel. So yeah, and my sister Allison makes the best sorrel, the best.
She said, I see her. She said yes.
So let's talk about. Thank you for sharing that. Let's talk about this for just a hot second. I want to get your thoughts on this particular statue. What comes up for you as you look at her, and also your thoughts on some of the criticism that has been going around.
So first of all, I'm like that they allowed a 12-foot Black woman to be. I'm like, yes, I think that's fantastic. I see power. I see resilience. And regarding the negativity, that's concerning because more of us look like this than look like the Eurocentric standard of beauty. So it is concerning. And I imagine there are people who actually look like this that are making these comments, which is, we know that can be some trauma, some mental health issues with doing that. And for me, this kind of gives me the, when you think of, we want other people to see us by the standard instead of just owning our own standard, which we can talk with even
Yeah,
style, right? It's the
yeah,
same
yeah.
thing. And so why not? What's wrong with standing on your own beauty, with standing on your own, appearance and celebrating that?
Yeah.
But I think that there's a lot of I don't want to call it hatred, but just not accepting that we aren't that standard and having a problem with that.
Yeah, yeah. And for some, it might be self-hatred, right? I mean,
I
hate
know.
is such a
I just
strong
don't like
word.
to
It
use
is a
it.
strong
Yeah.
word. But for some, it is, and that's because they don't consider themselves worthy, right?
Right.
And it's a self-esteem issue for many.
Mm-hmm.
And I gather that many of those women who look just like this, that had a critique about it, really have an issue with themselves, really have an issue with what they look like, how they look at themselves in the mirror, what they look like with clothes on. And some of these women are probably trying to hide, right? Trying to cover. But I just, I love the fact that she doesn't have flowing clothes on. This is someone that you see every single day, right? And
every day.
Every
day, all day.
Right. So I kind of wish that a Black woman made this statue, but aside from that, I'm grateful that this thing is hanging out in Times Square. So thank you for sharing your thoughts about it with us. Hey, Dave, Tony. Hey, brother. Thank you for joining us this morning. So let us get into our conversation. You have built, Sabra, such a vibrant platform that feels deeply personal and intentional. And so we'd love to hear the origin story. How did My Style is My Brand come to life? And what does the name mean to you?
Okay. So it came about, and I think you shared like a kind of a similar thing. Actually, I was working at a place that in an environment that I didn't love. I really hated not my job per se, but the culture of the organization. And it was felt like they tried to suppress people, and it was a bunch of engineers that worked there, and they just kind of wanted you to go along, to get along. Everybody dressed, similarly. And they had these unspoken rules about how to show up. And I was like, I don't like it. I just want to do my thing. And also I started the platform online just as a creative outlet, because I felt rich. It just was like, this is depressing. Like I just felt, very minimalized at that particular job. And I needed something. I needed an outlet. So I would literally take breaks and go take my pictures out in the neighborhood around the job. Like I started doing that. And then I just started, posting and creating. It was hard at first because it's a very vulnerable space. So you're putting your style out there. It's like, you're like, people can go, who does she think she is, or whatever. And I just said, but you know what, I'm just going to put it out there. And then I started to just connect with people that were, it was it's a very uplifting community that I connect with. But that's how I started. And My Style is My Brand. Just speak, and this is to me, it's can be applied to anybody. Your style can be your brand. Your style should be yours, right? And so I say that for me, but it's actually something that anybody can take and say their style is their brand, right? And so that's what it means to me. It's just that I'm not your brand. I'm not Sue's brand. I'm my brand. And when people say, what are you wearing, or what brand is that? It's my brand. What do you call that? Some people ask me, what do you call your style? I'm like, Sabra?
Sabra.
I don't know what else to call it,
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And so, we're going to get into your closet a little bit later on. But as I shared with you before we went live, your social media, at least for me, just exudes so much joy. And every single time I scroll past your content, I smile. And so you, Sabra, really, you radiate joy in a way that's magnetic, right? And so how has joy become part of your brand and your personal mission?
So I think when I finally again started dressing not by rules and my own thing, I couldn't I try to describe to people the joy that comes from that. There is like such a freedom, and that feels better than um, it. I always say I prioritize my joy over worrying about the criticism of others. My joy outweighs whatever negative thing someone can say about what I'm wearing, right? And so just knowing that every time I get in my closet, I mean, literally, I get excited about getting dressed. It brings me joy, literally. And so it's just, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just a great way to start your day. You don't know what the day is going to bring you, but it's going to start right there in that closet, you know, creating something colorful, creating something that's just totally me.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. You know, and so let's talk about your closet for a minute. I'm obsessed. I'm like, I mean, it's just all the colors, all, you know, all the
yeah, yeah.
So I'm obsessed with your closet. And, you know, for me, it's like this explosion of color and creativity.
Uh-huh.
So how do you curate? Like, how do you choose what goes in your closet? And is there one particular piece that makes you always feel powerful?
So how I curate, honestly, I go with, it's the same thing. It's like, I'm not worried about what anybody else is wearing. I'm going to be attracted to colors, patterns, and textures. So that's going to draw me first. It's like, you know how they say people or animals are attracted by shiny things. A rainbow colored something is a shiny thing to me. I'm like, oh, look at that over there. Let me go check that out. Right. So I just go, it's kind of like instinct. I'm comfortable with what I like. So I think a lot of people second guess, oh, I like that, but is it this, but is it that? I like what I like. And what's happened is over time, I buy what I like or what I love. Actually, I buy what I love. And you start to see similarities, right? So these things go together. So now I can mix them up. I can do this because I'm not worried about, does this do this or who's going to accept it. And when you really are buying from that space of knowing who you are and comfortable with what you love, then you just find you're consistent, right? It's just, there's a consistency. And so that's really how, you know, pieces have been built. I don't necessarily go to the store and say, oh, I need a yellow shirt, right? You know, I may go to the store and say, oh, look at that yellow shirt. I'm attracted to it for a reason, and I'm going to bring it home. And obviously, since I have a whole rainbow in my closet, it's going to go with, you know, practically every other thing, right? And so it's really, for me, the curation is really comes from a knowing of self and an acceptance of, I love what I love, and that's okay. And I don't have to worry about if anybody else thinks this is a cool shirt or not.
Yeah. And so, so how did you get to that place of I love what I love and not about everybody else?
So part of it was when I was at that job, right? And I just said, you know, I'm not wearing this uniform. I'm just gonna. And when I say it was just a sea of gray, black, you know, maybe navy blue, and I just remember one day saying, I saw this suit, floral, and I'm talking about tiny flowers all over, floral and velvet, black velvet background, and just I was like, oh, this is. I mean, I said, I'm getting this, and I could not wait to wear it to this office. And when I say I walked in and I just felt giddy, like I was like, oh my God, this feels so good. I want to feel this every day. And I was looking around, I'm like, I dare you to say something. It's like, this is suit. And I know, you know, raise some eyebrows, but also I think, and I think we'll get into this, hopefully we'll be able to get into this a little bit more. One of the things that kind of freed me up was starting to thrift shop. I wasn't expecting this. The reason I started thrifting wasn't because I had lofty, I later came to understand the sustainability and the damage that textile production does to our environment. But at the time, I was following some folks on Instagram who were thrifters. And when I said these outfits were amazing, and I'm like, you got that at a thrift store? You found that at a thrift store? So I wanted to start thrifting just so I could see, right? But what I did not expect when I got there was kind of just this freedom, this I call it, my mind came out of its cage. I mean, I always dress different than other people, but this really, opened me up. And I say that because at the thrift store, it's just clothes. When you go to the mall and to the store, there's a mannequin. They're showing you how to wear it. They're showing you what goes with what. And that's kind of, that gets in your brain, right? So you start, this is the same way we learn what's acceptable for a person to wear, what a Black woman should look like and shouldn't look like, right? And so it's kind of that subliminal. At the thrift store, it's not there. It's just a bunch of random stuff. And it was just kind of like, okay, it just opened up the creativity. And the more creative I got, the more I felt like, oh my God, this is really me, right? I started playing with the clothes, and like I tell everybody, play in your closet. Like that is the way. And just over time, and just saying, I'm going to wear this. I'm going to do this. At the thrift store, I shop in the men's section. I never would shop at the men's section at a mall. But at the thrift store, I go, I want an oversized blazer. Where am I going to get that? From the men's section. And I only got to pay $8.99 for it, as opposed to if I went to the mall and paid, $100, $150 for a blazer. So,
or $3.99 if it's like with the tag of the green tag.
Get the blue tag, right? And so it was just kind of that. It's just a process, and I think COVID helped a lot with that, because I was at home and I could play. I'm working online, but nobody can see the rest of me, right? So so that built up my confidence, my bravery to just wear whatever. And it felt so good to be in those clothes, to be styled that way. I couldn't go back. I'm never going back, right, to worrying about other people's, what they think I should be wearing in whatever spaces.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. If you're just joining us, we are talking with the phenomenal Sabra Johnson. If you have a question or a comment for Sabra, please post it, and we can make sure that she gets the opportunity to respond before we end our time together today. So you break all the rules, right? For me, because we kind of look at fashion in a certain way, right? And so for me, and for many people, right, you're like, oh, she's a rule breaker, right? You break you break the rules. So what's one rule that you think, in terms of style of fashion or just in general, that you think we should all just go ahead and delete?
That your purse must match your shoes, must match your belt. I know a lot of people are like, I can't not, but I'm telling you, Sue, even if, and I'm not saying get all three different, they could be, because I'll do that. But even if just two of them are and one of them is different, it's a lot more interesting to look at. And I don't mean interesting in a weird way. I used to be that person. And actually I was traveling this week, and I had to, I would love to take my whole closet, but I can't. So I took pieces, and I'm like, oh man. I mean, you should have seen me. I was just I got a red belt, a red purse, and red shoes. I was devastated. I was like, I don't want to wear this all together. This is this matchy. Like I really wanted to break it up, but I didn't have the pieces to do that. Right. But I would just say, just try it. Just try it. It doesn't have to be. It can be a lot more interesting. And so I was, I'm glad I broke out of that one.
Some of us are still in it.
I know, and I'm not mad. I understand. Yeah, I understand. But even if it's the belt and the shoes, get a different purse. Have the purse go with something else. Mm-hmm. Have the purse blend like it. It's more interesting. I would just say try it. And what I tell everybody, when you're afraid to try it in your house, and nobody has to see you. Mm-hmm. Take a picture in the mirror of both ways. And if you still like the matchy, then you got to do you. But I'm just saying, try things. And that's actually another thing I would say, for us to get out of our heads about what doesn't go until you actually tried it, mm-hmm. because you would be surprised. And that's what the whole playing in your closet is about. Mm-hmm. It's like, get in there and play. Nobody can see you. Put stuff on and then take a picture. and look at it that way.
Yeah.
And see, and you might go, oh my God, that actually looks really cute. I mean, that's what happened for me. I had bought into all the rules and the don't do's and the this and the that. But then when I started actually getting in my closet and putting things together differently than I would have ever worn it, and nobody has to see you, and take a picture and just a mirror selfie, you're like, oh my God, oh no, honey, she's cute and she's gonna wear that today, you know.
Yeah, I feel the same way. So it took me a long time to break out of not mixing metals, right? Because it was like, oh, if you have a gold earring on, you must have a gold necklace or something like that. So now, but I really like how mixed metals look now.
Yes.
And you know, it this popped in my head, and I know Allison and them, they're gonna laugh. You know, wearing white after Labor Day. So many of us were raised to not wear white.
That's right.
After Labor Day, right? So we be waiting until Memorial Day to put the white off.
Well, and so I live in California. So for me, white it's about a weather temperature thing as opposed to a season. Like, because it could be 90 degrees on Thanksgiving here. And if I want to wear the white summer dress, I'm gonna wear that. Like, I don't care what anybody says. So I'm glad you broke out of that one. Look, are you still hesitant? Look, are you still hesitant though when you're about to do it?
I am so, yeah. So the way I trick myself is like, it's off white. It's not white. So, so I gotta trick myself. But you know, I have been we had Nico on a couple of weeks ago, you know, who helps women kind of find like their style, elevate their style. And you know, one of the things he said, he was like, why do you wear so much black? Because I will black it down. Okay.
Wow.
I will black it down. He's like, you got this black blazer on. He read me, child. And even my partner, she's like, you know, you're not your personality. You don't have a dark personality. So why do you keep wearing these dark colors? And I realized that part of that comes from, because I'm a thick girl, that the black would kind of minimize, right? And so I've been, you know, trying to incorporate more colors, especially like in my nails. And of course, today I have this.
And you look beautiful in this color. You look beautiful in this yellow. Come on.
Yeah. So I've been trying to kind of incorporate that and kind of lean into color a little bit more. But I'm still kind of trying to find like, okay, my style, because in my head, like I'm this like cool rocker chick, right? But but when I put certain things together, it doesn't feel like it fits me. And so like I'm still on this journey of trying to figure out you know, what looks good on me, what colors look good on me, because some colors just don't look good. And
you can wear you black. Most colors look good on you. Let's just be honest. We can wear all of them, just about.
You know, it took me a long time to kind of wear red because I'm like, oh well, you know, it washes me out. But Mama's on, and so I gotta confess, right? So she gave me this pink sweater for Christmas last year. I'm like, I don't like pink. You will not catch me dead in pink, right?
I got a story about that.
Pink on the other day. I was
like, yes. So I was the same. I hated pink. Now you see me wear every color, all the colors. And I was like, for years, no. And I think it's more what pink represents. Oh, the soft, the this, and I'm a woman, I'm feminine, but I'm not that like saccharine. Like to me, that's what pink meant, right? But I couldn't deny that it looked good on me. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. You look good in this color. And I go out and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to start wearing pink. Now I do tend to, I go to like medium to very strong pinks like fuchsia. You will not really see me in a soft baby pink, even though that quote unquote looks good, but the color is not powerful enough for me. I like I like saturation in my color. So I'm with you. I've been there. So I did the same thing. I was like, I'm not wearing that. I don't wear pink. I don't wear pink. And my husband even say, who? I know that's not you over there. I know that's not you in that pink. And I'm like, just be quiet. Let's just pretend. Let's pretend it never happened. It was so bad. I was calling it light red. I said, y'all, this is light red. I'm not wearing pink.
That's funny.
This is just light red.
So, so going back to your point, just try it.
Just try it.
Just try it.
Just try it.
And you just never know how it looks on you. I see y'all over there on Instagram. Thank you for joining us. We're going to take a quick break for Sabra to take another sip of her hibiscus tea. And we'll be right back with some more conversation with the amazing Sabra Johnson. It's been such a good conversation so far. I'm so excited that all of you are here and engaging. I want to remind you again to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. Go to Inspire with Sue W on Facebook and on Instagram, and you can head over to our website at www.getinspired.live to see all of our previous episodes and to subscribe to our newsletter. We don't want you to miss a thing, so go ahead and head over to the website. Also, if you or someone you know is on a mission to create change while inspiring others to do the same, we want to hear from you. Want you here, sitting across from me in the virtual space in a future conversation on Inspire. And so you could also head over to our website to book your appearance. So on getinspired.live, just hit the tab, be our guest, fill out that contact information, and a member of our team will get back to you. So I want to introduce, I've been talking about it last couple of weeks, the Overflow. I want you to check it out. This is my weekly reflection series where we kind of keep the conversation going, right? After each episode of Inspire. And it's where I unpack like the wisdom, right? The powerful wisdom shared by our guests and dive a little deeper into the themes that are still sitting with me. So again, that's on our website, getinspired.live. Just click on the Overflow to read this week's reflection and also share your own. I'm excited about Dying to Talk. This is my podcast mentee, Letitia Battle. She has officially launched the show, and it is definitely one that you need to hear. It's a podcast that reminds us that the real treasure is in being alive. And so in each episode, Letitia opens up space for honest, healing conversations about life, death, grief, and legacy. And she tackles the tough stuff, things most people avoid talking about, but she does it with so much heart, reflection, and purpose. And so I want you to support her. Go over to where all of the podcasting platforms are. Look for Letitia Battle, Dying to Talk. New episodes drop every other Thursday. Please support her. Please subscribe to her podcast. Also, gotta shout this out as well. Of course, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I have a special podcast series called Brilliant, Not Broken. And so this is for anyone like me who is neurospicy, right? Navigating ADHD, anxiety, and all the other things, right? And so each episode is a love note to the ones who feel overwhelmed but keep showing up anyway, right? So it's real talk, gentle truth, and deep permission to rest, reflect, and remember that you are brilliant and you are not broken. So episodes are streaming right now on the platform of your choice, the podcasting platform of your choice. And you could also read the blog that accompanies it on our website at www.cara-solutions.com. And so finally, and I announce this every single Saturday, and I'm going to do it until our sibling and community gets a kidney. So Yanni needs a kidney. If you know Yanni, you might know her as the Peace Pastor, Reverend Yanni, Pastor. However you know Yanni, even if you don't, she needs a kidney donor. She's been trying to get a new kidney, I believe, is over a year now. And so she's in search of potential donors who are fairly healthy, who have the blood types A or O, and the courage to commit the surgery and help save her life. And she'd love to share the safety measures with you. So if you're interested, or if you have a resource, if there's an organization or something, somewhere that she can connect that will help her and her family, please reach out to them at peacepeopleinc@gmail.com. or you can head over to EmeryLivingDonor.org, fill out that survey, and enter her name, Yana Davis. And so we want to make sure that we are helping her as much as we can to get her kidney. Well, we are going to get back into some more conversation with Sabra Johnson. Thank you for joining us again, Sabra. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's so good to so it's been so good to have you here so far. So I want to talk a little bit about your businesses, right? So you launched not one but two projects. So the Style Box and Sock Swag. Can you tell us what inspired each of them and how they connect back to your overall mission of joyful self-expression?
So the Style Box, actually, I just had to wrap it up, but I do want to still talk about, just in general. That was really about ways, again, this is being able to try things out without, spending a lot of money. You could do that. We were able to send things back. You keep things if you really wanted them or what have you, but it was an opportunity to try things out. And you're not just dumping clothes into Goodwill, which a lot of that stuff doesn't get resold. It gets shipped to some of our native lands. Over in Africa, you can see, if you research, you can see our discarded clothing a lot of times still with tags washing up on the shores of the beaches there. So that was really any clothing rental service is really just an opportunity for people to try things without adding a lot of stuff to your closet, and just the ability to also be sustainable in how you consume fashion. The socks, though, let's talk. So let's talk about socks. It's also a thing. It was one of those things of just try it. So one of the questions I ask myself is, at what point in our lives as women do we stop wearing socks and then we only wear hosiery or bare? Where did that lesson come from, right? And so, and I still haven't answered that question. Like, when did I get that message? So anyway, what was happening is I'm seeing, you'll see on runways, you'll see things where people are wearing socks with pumps. And I was like, that's stupid. I'm not there. Who's going to do that? And then, okay. So one day I'm like, let me try it. And I was like, oh my God, this is cute. Like the outfit was outfitting. I was like, this is, so I started just incorporating socks more. I wear them with pumps. I wear them with, and they're just another accessory, a fun accessory or something I can wear. And people kept saying, oh, you should have a sock brand. You should have a sock brand. And I'm like, oh, that'd be great one day. That'd be great. Because it's just another way to express and add just a punch to the outfit. Because, you see me, you don't see my socks. I'm showing the socks, wearing shorts, ankle, with calf high socks and all kinds of stuff. So a company reached out to me and said, hey, we help. They just reached out and they said, hey, we help creators become entrepreneurs. Do you have an idea? I'm like, well, as a matter of fact, I'd love to do socks. And they helped me find manufacturer. They, set up the website, did all these things. I'm severing that relationship now because I want to have more control, especially like in dealing with my manufacturers. But it helped me do something that I would not have otherwise done myself. I would have been sitting on the idea, well, how do I do this? How do I find and they really helped push me to say, oh, I can do this, right? And so the first batch of my product is I still have a few left, but I'm looking to get on to my next. I have other designs I want to do. I had wanted to do some socks. Actually, when I did this collaboration with Bruce Glenn to go with these pieces, but I wasn't able to do that. But I still want to do some socks based on the prints that we did together. So the socks came about just as the same thing. Well, who does that? Nobody's going to do that. And here I am in my house, in my mirror, trying it out, taking a picture, and was like, oh my God. And again, talking about how people say things that can make you go against what you like. Somebody said to me, there was a comment left, where do you live where people are wearing socks with, so, but I didn't take offense because I felt bad for her, because your vision is that somebody has to give you permission to do something. The people around me have to be doing it for me to be able to do it. And that's not true. So I told her, I live in my mind, and in my mind, this is what I want to wear. So I don't care if nobody else is doing it. This is what I'm going to do. But so I wasn't, at first I was like, what? But then I was like, that just speaks to the fact that so many of us are waiting for permission rather than just owning our own thing and saying, this is me. I'm waiting for permission. I'm waiting for somebody else to tell me it's okay. And so I tell people the socks for me is a much deeper thing. It's not just socks. It really represents me, a big part of me at that point, just owning my style and what I'm comfortable with. So it's not just socks for me.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And so, do you do your own? So, do you do your own designs, or do you kind of
Yes.
speak out?
No,
Okay.
these are my design. I can't even, some my friend said, you should tell people it's your own design. I'm like, well, what do they think I'm doing? She's like, well, you could just buy socks from somewhere and put your label on it. I'm like, oh my God, that never crossed my mind to do that. I'm like, no, I'm trying to create my own designs. I'm not a graphic designer, but I can figure it out. I can put things together, and yeah, I figured it out.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. So it is Mental Health Awareness Month, as I mentioned before, and I think it's so important to kind of talk about the connection between how we feel and how we express ourselves. So,
Yes.
How has your creative expression, your personal style, supported your mental and emotional well-being?
So there's a couple things I want to say. In this current world environment, there's a whole lot of stuff going on, a whole lot of stuff that doesn't feel good to me, right? And so getting dressed, I know some people are like, how is that? But getting dressed, it helps me every day. It helps me to go in my closet to say, this is something I can control. This is something that's going to make me feel good. And it's why I do what I do. But also I wanted to talk about when you talked about wearing black so much. I don't know about you, but for me, when and I really don't like to wear black too much close to my face. It's very specific outfits where I'll do it. I feel different. Like I feel when I'm wearing black or something that's just more dark and heavy without like a specific super chic, something like I'm just wearing, I don't feel as good as when I put something like this on. It's like the color, it lifts my mood. So I would always say my favorite color is orange, although I feel like I wear yellow a lot more, and I would notice if I wake up and I'm not feeling that great, if I put orange on, something orange in my outfit, it just instantly, it just lifts the mood. It makes me feel better. It gives me a boost to get that day started. So I feel like number one, color for me, but also it goes back to that joy that I told you I get from knowing I'm wearing what I love. I'm not worried about, anybody else. I'm wearing what I love, and that makes me feel good. That that helps me step out into the world with confidence. And so I think it is important that, for people, I don't think style is frivolous. I think people really should dig into it. There's a lot of emotions and trauma a lot of times associated with the things we wear, and I think people really it can be emotional, and I think people really should dig into that a little more.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing some comments from Instagram. Hey, the spooky cookie colors. Yes, colors definitely have that effect. Listen, Colors do have that effect. And
Yes.
you know, so like, you know, I'm in this yellow today. I'm just like feeling kind of bright and sunny. Right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I didn't realize until I started trying to incorporate more colors, that it really did have a difference, or it really did impact my mood, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, you know, all
Yeah, I
the
mean, you
all
step
about you.
differently. People see
Yeah,
you differently.
yeah.
It's like, you know, it's interesting. I'm not a person who just goes out and just talks to people, you know, but if people approach me, you know, I'm chatty, right? I will talk to them. And it definitely draws a lot of interactions,
Mhm.
um, which still surprises me. I'm like, oh, well, thank you. Yes. You know, because a lot of people are afraid of color. They don't wear
Mhm.
color. So they're intrigued by, you know, this walking rainbow, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially the hats. I know we didn't talk about the
Oh,
hats. Come on,
listen.
tell us about the hats. Tell us about the hats.
Ooh, I
Baby,
mean,
you have some fire, okay?
and when I put a hat on, I call it my attitude. Like,
Okay.
and you know, and I know my hats are different than any, you know, that you don't, you're not just, but I don't care. I feel like a hat is just like that finish and touch to an outfit. And I, you know, because some days I go, okay, I'm not gonna wear a hat today. You know, it's fun. Some people think I hate my hair, my gray, because I choose to wear a hat. I'm like, no, the hat just, it just does the thing. It's that finishing touch. And when I tell you, same as the color, when I put those hats on, baby, the attitude, the personality, it's a change. There's a change that comes over me, and it's a strut. I don't even know how to describe it, but it just makes me so happy. So
Mhm.
happy. And be like, why don't you stop wearing that? Because I feel too good to not wear these hats. Like these hats are fat. Like, do you see this fit? Like, what are
Listen.
you talking about? Yeah, I love them. I
Right,
love
right.
them. And my husband cuts my hair, and I'll be like, babe, cut my hair. He's like, why? You just gonna put a hat on? I said, because even with a hat, you need to you gotta have it trim and tight. So come on now, cut this hair so I can put this hat on.
And I love them because it just feels like you're taking up even more space, right?
Yes,
Yeah, so
yes.
like you're already present, but the hat just elevate, like I'm taking up all the space. Right?
It says, here I am. I will not be ignored.
Yeah.
Here I am. I'm not trying to get your attention, but guess what? You won't ignore me either.
So we get ready to wrap up. You have built such a brand that celebrates aging as well, unapologetically. And I
Yes.
know our audience right now includes women in all stages of life, right? And I personally, also being over 50, right? I find it refreshing the way that you show it boldly at 50 plus. And so, what we talked about confidence earlier. What does that confidence feel like for you now? As opposed to how it felt for you in your 20s, your 30s, or your 40s.
I'm certainly more confident now. I think that just comes with living. But I will tell you, the night before I turned 50, I'm 50, 53. I'm 53 now. But the night before I turned, it was like I felt like a kid on Christmas Eve.
Mm.
I don't know. I know some people are like, oh, I don't know. It was like this. I wanted to get there. And I was so excited on my 50th birthday. I felt renewed. I felt, I don't even know how to describe it. It was so weird, even to me, because I was like, why are you so excited about this? But I was. And I think, um, I care even less what other people think. I own, like, I've lived 50, like, come on now. I don't care what you think. I've done this. I'm just showing up as me. And I know I have more confidence after, like, I just really am like, I'm doing this. I don't care about, but I don't really get the you're too old. I really don't get that kind of comment. So I don't know. I think it's just because people know I don't care. I'm just showing up however. So that it's not even something that they need to need to say to me. But yeah, I still will wear a short skirt when I feel like it. But a lot of things that I wore back then, like shoes that's tall and hurt my feet, I'm like, I'm too old for that. I'm too old to be uncomfortable. Now I am too old for that. I'm too old to be uncomfortable, and I don't want to wear clothes that I got to pull on. I want to be confident and feel like just free when I go do my thing.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. What advice, as we wrap up, what advice would you give to someone who is maybe on the edge of reinvention, right? And looking to reinvent themselves, whether it's switching up their style or starting something new or reclaiming their voice. What advice would you have for them?
Don't wait for permission. I've been a person that doesn't wait for permission, but it's like the right time is while you're thinking about it. The right time is not just take the step. I take the steps in spite of my misgivings or whatever. It's like, no, like I'll force myself to do the thing, because if I don't, then I'll just sit in it. And it's the same way with style. Again, you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of clothes. If you're trying to change, you see what you can use what you have. Put those things together differently in a way that you never would have, in the comfort of your home where nobody can see you, and take that picture. If it's to start the business, again, I still started the business before I was ready, like in my mind, ready, right? But God didn't put this here. Like, okay, ma'am, this is right here for you right now. You had this idea that you didn't pursue. And God said, oh, let me put this in her email box. And I was like, oh, okay, I hear you. Let me go on and take that step and do that thing. So it's really more about getting out of your own way, because that's really all it's. Oh, I want to reinvent. Well, what's stopping you? Get out of your own way. And I'm saying this, and I literally have this talk with myself once a week. And my husband will tell me, get out of your own way. And he's, and I go, what if I actually try? You got this far without actually, and he's just like, wow, thinking about the possibilities, and get out of your own way.
Get out of your own way. Such powerful words of wisdom to leave us with. Sabra Johnson, thank you so much for joining us. Let the people know where to find you.
You can find me on Instagram at MyStyleisMyBrand. I do have my website, actually my blog, that I'm going to kick back into doing. I had taken a break after my husband had a heart transplant last year. But that is MyStyleisMyBrand.com. And you can find links to all my anything else through either Instagram or there, the Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So I'm all over the place. My Style is My Brand. If you type all that, it's always going to be me, because that's my brand and nobody else.
That's your brand. Sabra, thank you so much for reminding us that joy is really revolutionary, right? And that confidence is wearable, and that we are never too old or too anything to express ourselves boldly. And so, y'all, I hope all of you over here on Instagram and those watching on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on YouTube, I hope that you caught every single gem that Sabra dropped today, and whether it was about breaking rules or letting your wardrobe reflect your healing journey. Like, this conversation today was just chef's kiss.
So thank you. I'm so happy.
Sabra's story, y'all. If her story inspired you, please drop a heart in the comments, tag a friend, and let us know what your favorite takeaway is. And don't forget to follow Sabra, support her, and say yes to your own bold self-expression.
Yes.
Once again, I am your host, Sue A. Webley. And until next time, I want you to stay lifted. I want you to stay motivated. But most of all, I want you to stay inspired. We'll see you again next week.